All right. Hey guys, this is Chef Dangoor with TigerChef. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my Mexican goulash with the help of my Mundial Scalloped Knife. First thing we're going to do is prep the meat. As you see, I chose a nice piece of meat with a lot of marbling in this. You guys should do the same because the marbling is what keeps it moist throughout the cooking process. Now you want a nice sharp knife to go through this. How thick do you want to make your meat? This is actually a perfect size. So I usually just put my knife right on top just so I can see how thick it is, and then I'll just start to cut down. And there we go, just like that. I got one flap. I'm gonna go with 2 flaps today. We're gonna make a small batch. If you want to make a larger batch on this, you could go with as much as 10 flaps, but this will be enough for about 10 people. So let's get this guy out of the way. Now, once you got your 2 flaps, just put them right on top of each other, and same thing, put the knife just to see how far to cut, and then cut down. Now you have nice little strips. All right, now that you have your nice little strips, you can line it up just like this, and you can make nice little cubes. All right, perfect. Center it up, some more cubes. This is exactly the size that you want your cubes to be when cooking. So let me just explain to you everything I got over here. We got paprika, we got pepper, we got chocolate powder, cocoa powder, we got brown sugar, salt, oil, and our meat. So first thing is I'm gonna put in our meat, make sure it's all nice and separated. And we're gonna put a little bit of oil on top. Now the oil is just so then it's just to coat it. It's just when you put on the spices, it's gonna dry up a little bit, and you want it to move all the way around. So we're gonna go about 3 tablespoons of paprika, about a half a tablespoon of pepper. Lightly sprinkle that on there. Now cocoa, depends on how you want to do it. This is like a Mexican thing where they make mole, but they'll put like cinnamon in it, they'll put anise in it, they'll put different types of spices. So I want to keep it more of like a regular goulash, so I'm just going to put in a little bit of cocoa powder and not much more. I'm going to put in my salt, and the last thing I'm going to put in is the brown sugar. And you want about a tablespoon of salt in here. Now it's okay that it's all piled up on top of each other. We're going to mix it with the oil, and that's what's gonna help separate it. And you could put about 2 tablespoons. I'm gonna go a little bit generous, put 4 in there. And now you just gotta mix it up. Now the oil will help mix everything together, and you're gonna let this sit overnight. Now you can see it's dried up. It's gonna need a little bit more oil. And don't worry, that's gonna come out in the cooking process, so don't worry about putting out too much. So I've been tossing this for about a minute just to get everything. And you can see everything is now evenly coated. And you see it's like it has a little shine on there, but the spices are just sticking right to it. So now the thing is, all the spices are on the outside of it. I'm gonna leave this overnight, and all the spices are gonna penetrate into the center of the meat, and then that's when I'm gonna cook it. So we've gone and heated up the pan to like a medium-high heat. You don't wanna get it too high. One of the reasons why I like to wait before I put in the sugar from yesterday is because it will burn if it gets too hot at the bottom. So I'm just gonna place these guys in here, and we're gonna sear them off on each side. So as you can see, I've seared off all the sides. Now this is only about 1/4 of my meat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this out and put it on the side, and I'm gonna put a new batch in. If there's extra oil in there, which some of the oil came off, remember I told you that extra oil will come off in the cooking process, you can just drain it, which is exactly what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna take these, put it on the side, and I'm gonna start my new batch until it's all done. All right, now that I've seared off all my meat, I'm gonna put it back in a cold pot. I'm gonna put all this guys back inside. And then afterwards, I'm just gonna cover it with sake. And I chose a very cheap sake, whatever. It doesn't need to be an expensive bottle. This one I got for about $1.50. And because I don't want to spend too much on my cooking liquid. And I just want to cover it because I want the sauce to be thick in the end. There we go. And actually, before I even put this down, I'm just going to level this out. I want to make sure that it's just barely covered. There we go. Now, when doing a bigger batch, you can do these in full hotel pans, so you get more surface area. But if you are, and then you have like one layer. But if you're pressed on space and you need to stack them up one on top of the other, that will work as well. And so there we go. It's just barely covered. Some of the meat is still sticking out. That's exactly what we want. We're gonna cook it at a low temperature, maybe a 3 out of 10 on the heat scale. And we're gonna let it cook for about 3-4 hours. In about 20 minutes, we're gonna add a full onion. We're gonna chop it up and add it in there. So you wanna take a sharp, thin knife like this Dexter knife, and you wanna make cuts going straight down, right across, just like that. And then you wanna come through the center, maybe make 1, 2 like that on top. You want everything to be about 1/4 of an inch thick. And then you're gonna go straight down. And that's how you get these perfect uniform cuts all the way through. And when you get down to the end like this, just to save it, because remember, it's going into a stew. So not everything needs to be perfect, but just go straight like that. And generally, these will match what you have over here.
Action.
This stage of the game, you can see there's like some very small bubbles. That's exactly how you want your goulash to be. Now we're gonna add in all these onions, and I'm actually not gonna push them down. I want them to sit on top and kind of make like a little layer on top. And then throughout the cooking process, they're going to sweat and they're gonna go in there. They're gonna absorb all that juice and it's gonna be delicious. So just like that, I'm gonna cover the top, and now we're gonna cook this for another 3.5 hours. It's been about 4 hours that this thing has been cooking, and you can see it's got a very dark color. The sauce has a very nice consistency. I didn't add any flour. Usually when you're gonna do a stew, a braise, anything like that, you're gonna wanna add flour to thicken it up. The reason why this became so thick is because of the cocoa powder. It's actually you can use it as a thickening agent. But as you can see, this is just very beautiful color, and the onions in here, they've melted out perfectly, and this meat looks delicious. So guys, this is how you make Mexican goulash. Now normally, goulash is served with something called spetzel. It's like a little dumpling, if you will. But because it's Mexican style, I like to do that Mexican red rice, which is really delicious with this. It goes together smoothly. So guys, listen, you guys want to have some more fun videos, come subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for all your chef needs, come visit us at TigerChef.com. See you guys soon.